Hello guys, welcome back. And on this video we are going to talk about the spending, what I've spent on my car since this car left the car yard. And on this video, I think this video will be more important to an investor more than someone who has taken a loan or someone who is having his own car. You understand? Because for an investor, it's an instant payment, 1,500 per day. Different from someone who is owning. Maybe sometimes when the job is good, you may end up saving 2,000, 3,000, sometimes even 4. So it will depend. But for an investor, it is an instant amount. That amount will never change unless you drive it by yourself. So this video will help you as a new investor to understand and to calculate whether Uber will be paying or it's a loss for money. You will just calculate what I'm going to say here, what I've spent since this car left the yard for the past 1 year. This is a 1 year review of what I've spent. So first of all, I will start with the common service, a monthly service. That's a must. Monthly service, I always do my service at Auto Express. And Auto Express, they have a pack for Uber cars that goes for around 2,000, 2,100, somewhere there. But they don't have the air cleaner for this car. So the air cleaner, I always buy it somewhere outside. And the air cleaner plus the oil, my service, monthly service, after 5,000 kilometers. 5,000 kilometers, it always take a month or sometimes 3 weeks, but I've given it a month. So 3,000 per month for my monthly service. 3,000 per month in 1 year, that will be 36,000 Kenya shillings. That's oil service and air cleaner monthly for an Uber driver, because 5,000 kilometers is 3 weeks or even a month, roughly a month, sometimes also a month and a week, depending on how the business was during that month. Also, the tires. As if you look at this car, I've changed the tires. I had, within that 1 year, the first tires, I've replaced them. So my first tires, I changed the tires that are behind the car, mguu ya nyuma. Those were the first to be changed. Zilikuwa za mbele, but I changed them to zikuja nyuma. And sometimes also the tires that cars come with, they are very low according to our roads. Huwa inafanya bumper. Ukiangalia 650cc utaona bumper zimegwaragwara, not because the driver ni reckless ama nini. The tires zenye zinakuja, alafu sometimes hauna do ya kuchange, so lazima ukimbie na hizo, ukimake do uchange. So my first tires, I think maybe I made a mistake, but I don't regret it. I bought my first tires at Auto Express, and the tires were 5,500 each. That equals to 11,000. On my second tires, hizo za mbele zilikuwa, so nilikuwa nimechanuka. So one of my friends gave me a number. I went to Kirinyaga Road and bought them. These tires, hizo za mbele zilikuwa 35 each, 3,500 each, which is 7,000. That brings my tires to 18,000. For the 1 year, I've not changed another tire, so those are the tires I'm using, but they are also good. They are still good. So the moment you leave the yard, because these cars come with the common springs, the smaller springs, you have to go for the heavy duty because of our roads. So I went for the heavy duty springs, which was 15,000. And when I was changing the springs, also I had a problem. The fundis, they messed up one of my shock absorbers, the right one. So ilikuwa imemwaga oil. So I had also to replace that one the following month. So by changing that one also The spring, the heavy duty springs, the whole thing, I think niligongwa. Most people, they are telling me that niligongwa. So kwa kugongwa, I spent 3,500 on each spring. But I was told niligongwa. So that one brings my budget for the 4 springs to 14,000. 14,000 plus the service, something for the fundi, it was 15. Shock absorber, then the following month I went for the new shock absorber, the right one in front. Iliwasumbua kufungua, that's why hapo ndio walikosea. So hiyo ilinifanya tena nika spend an extra 6,000 shillings. Spare yenyewe ilikuwa the spring itself, it was 4,500 plus the service fee, and the other one, the old one, was very stubborn. We have to go to the welder to cut it from the top because it was messy and it was very tough to remove it. So that I spent 6,000 there. Floor mat, you have to change. If you look at this one here, this is the mat that I'm using. Floor mat, I think I spent roughly 1,000 for both of them. Zambele, because you must have this one that can resist water. So I went for this one at around 1,000. Also, after a few months, I went for a coolant. I went for the coolant worth 1,500, the 5 liter. But with the time, because I was replacing the whole thing, I was replacing everything. So I had to drain the first coolant to replace it. So I replaced it with a 5 liter, and also the remaining ones I've been top upping, and even as you see now, I have this one that is now, I think, zinaisha. So these ones goes for 300 plus the 5 liter. I've given it 2,100 for the coolant, 1 year. That coolant is still in the car, so it is something that will also give me service for the future. I had a problem with my side mirror. First of all, the side mirror was stolen. Not the whole of it, but the inner part of it. That side that reflects was stolen somewhere along Kangundo Road. So I had to go and replace it. I had a service on that. And also, the other side, nilipata ajali. I got an accident when I was reversing a car. I reversed a car, then nikagonga the other side, the other car. But it was just the side mirror, so ilivunjika. The side mirror was broken, so I had to make some service. So for both services, I've given it a repair of 5,000. I spent 5,000 on both side mirrors. That's a service that I've done with my money, and I have to place it here as one of the services. Though this is not something that will be happening to everyone on Uber. These are some of them, they are not common things. Even coolant, some people they use water, they add water, but me, I use coolant. So this is my calculation. So headlamp, I got an accident last year, as you can see. I got an accident last year, and I had to go for the new lamp, the left side one, and this lamp was going for 25k, but since I had to bargain, and it seems like prices are also going slow, this lamp cost me 17,500. If you ask about the insurance, they gave me a lot of story, as you always know, so I had to go cash. I don't want to go deep into that, but I was given a lot of stories, and I have nilisari, so I had to go for it in cash, 17,500. Plus service, I've given it a budget of 18,000 because replacing it was not that hard. Also, inspection, I've gone for the inspection twice. The first one and also the second one. So I don't know whether I should put that second one to this year or the last year. But on inspections for the two, I've given it 3,000 shillings. Insurance, you have to insure this car so that you will have it on the road. huwezi ingia barabara bila insurance, and I'm using a comprehensive insurance. Insurance here is 50,000 shillings. So add that 50,000 to your maths and you will understand where we are going to, where our maths is going to. So insurance was 50,000. Spare wheel, because this car came without a spare wheel, and since I was going for the inspections, spare wheel is a must. So because of that, spare wheel and these first aid kits, these ones are mandatory and they don't come with the car. These ones here. So these ones, both of them costed me like 3,000 for the first aid kit and everything around first aid kit and some small things. It was 3,000. Also, as the time goes, that one and first aid kit. Let me explain. First aid kit and spare wheel, because I had to buy a second-hand spare wheel. That one costed me 5,000 in total. Both spare wheel and first aid kit. These ones here, 5,000. So body works and rivets. At some point, since you are a driver on the road, some problems, but I've not had body works a lot. I don't have a lot of body works, but there was a time I had some things to be rubbed, some small things, small scratches. So rubbing that, and also rivets. You have to rivet your car so that they don't steal things. Like this one here, they remove it, but finding this one sometimes will be problem. And also if you find it, it will cost you 1,000. So you have to give it a rivet, like the ones I've done behind on the side of the car. If you can look at this one, I've done some rivet work on this one, because these are things that can be removed. So with that one and the body works, I've given it 3,000. So we go to the gear service, gearbox. As always, you know, cars have two engines, gearbox and engine itself. So gearbox service, I did it once, and this is where my problem started, and it is a very big problem that I have to tell you. So gearbox, I did a service, and the gearbox service was 4,500 for an oil that I replaced. 4,500. 4,500 plus a fee, service fee for the mechanic. Let's say 4,500, because I'm coming into that. So from that gearbox, also after some few months after service, I had a problem with my gearbox. The gears were not changing, the car was very slow. So I went back to my mechanic to check what was going wrong. And the mechanic now told me that we should check on the oil that we changed. So we checked the oil, and I was told that the oil was burnt. Oil imechomeka, and the oil was so dirty, water heavy. So we changed it again. But this time we were changing it. We used 2 of them, but one was just, we used just a bit of it. Hatukutumia yote, a whole gallon. So from that 4,500 times 3, I'm talking about now 3 gallons. The first service, now when we had a problem, I gave it another 2, which is 9,000 plus 4,500. So also on gearbox, that problem continued even after I've spent 9,000 in it by buying this oil. After buying this oil, I bought 2 of them, replaced it after ile ya kwanza kuchomeka, but still the problem continued. So we had to go back and look at what was happening, and we realized that it was a gearbox. Since it was a gearbox, we had to replace it, and we changed the gearbox. So the gearbox was 50k. The new gearbox, it was foreign used but new. As always, in Kenya we always use the ex-Japan. So the ex-Japan was costing 50,000 plus this oil, a new oil. So when it comes to gearbox service, I'm talking about 4 of them. 4 gallons of the same value, 4,500 each. You understand? For that 1 year. So we have changed the gearbox at 50k plus 4 gallons. Because since we have we had replaced the gearbox, the mechanic told me that we cannot reuse the used oil that we have removed. See, though the 2 gallons that we replaced to the engine was just 2 days old. Remember, we replaced them when the engine was having some problems, so we could not put them back. So on that one, we are talking about 4 gearbox gallons, which is something like 18,000 plus 50,000 for the gearbox. That will be around, that's a lot of money, around 60, 70. So gearbox was 4,500 plus 5,000 service fee for the fundi, for the mechanic. That's why gearbox is 50,000. So brakes, on brakes, I have replaced it once and they are still good. The whole thing brakes were like 1,500 plus service fee, brakes, and some, because I've been going to the garage to adjust them, so the whole service, I've just given it 3,000 on brakes. Also, I have changed my battery. I have a new battery. So my battery is new, and that battery was around 7,500. So guys, this amount comes to around 250, 56, 55, 250, no, yes, 250,000, something like that, 250,000, around there. So calculate very well. If you are someone who is planning to invest here, have your because these things, some of them are not a must. So I don't want you to be afraid of investing, but I want you to calculate and understand whether, if you have the same journey like I've had, will you have some profit as an investor? Also, I want you to understand that some of these things, like the headlamp that I replaced, the headlamp was not a must because not all cars have the accidents. The side mirror that was stolen, not everyone's side mirrors were stolen. Also, I'm forgetting this one. I'm forgetting these ones. Yeah, I was forgetting these two. These are mounting. And here also I made some mistakes. As a human being, you make some mistakes. So these ones, they had a problem. This one, they are the engine mounting. So I had a problem with these ones. Then, since it was on a weekend and the car was not moving, ilikwama mahali mbali. So I had to chonga. I went for the juakali ones. If you look at this one, it's a juakali ones. But it affected the car performance. There was a lot of vibration. But this one also costed me an extra 3,000, around 3,000. So on these ones, I had to go back and buy the genuine ones. Right now, as we speak, I have the genuine ones, but ex-Japan. The genuine ones was around 3,500 each. This one here, 3,500. This one also 3,500. 7,000 plus the money that I spent on these Juakali ones. because that's also a spending, even though it was a mistake, but it is my spending. So I have placed it among my spendings. And also that 3,000, if I could have gone for the new ones, maybe I would have saved the 3,000. So learn from my mistakes at some point when we are making this video. So here, 10,000. Have your calculation, calculate very well and understand the business, and you will tell me what you think about it. But this is the spending that I've spent. I'm very sure we have some people who have spent less. We have some people who have spent more. And also we have some people who have not spent that much. They have just been, but this is the journey. I don't think there is someone special. There are some things you cannot stop from a car, like the gearbox that I was talking about. What else can you do? This car is 1 year old. You have had a problem with the gearbox. I know someone whose car was 7 months, and we replaced the gearbox last week. So as an investor, you need to understand that you should have around that money, and also divide this spending by 12, because we are talking about 1 year. Divide this calculation by 12 and understand how much you should keep aside as an investor per month. But sometimes these numbers may vary depending on your problem. Like if you hear about this oil, I had a problem, and I have used 4 gallons in 1 year. It is not common. So I think, but that's the calculation around that area. So you may cut it by 30% as a mistake, then you calculate your yearly spending on the car. So guys, this is what is happening. You cannot blame a driver on some things. Like this one, gearbox. Ningefanya, these cars, they are being used outside the country. So even if it has a problem, you will not know. Also, we overuse these cars. A 650cc going for 200 kilometers daily for 365 days. But so all in all, the car is good, and I thank God we are making it. And also someone who is going for loans. If you are going for a car loan, have these maths within you. And also I want to remind you something, that being that I've given you this calculation should not stop you from going for a car and joining Uber, because all the money that I've spent, when I went for this car, I did not have this money. So this money, all of that money came from this car, but I've also spent it on this car. And savings is a question for me at some point. Sometimes sina deni ya mtu. So let's thank God, and please subscribe to our channel, support our channels, and here we'll be giving you more and more of such content. Thank you.